Mark Carney says the international rules based world order has ruptured and we can't ever go back. He delivered a powerful speech in Switzerland he wrote himself. Carney says that hegemons, great powers, are using money, trade, and energy to bully smaller countries. He's talking about America. Carney advocates for middle power countries to work together because if they're not at the table, they're on the menu. Carney admits that the international rules based order was a fiction, a useful lie that we all participated in to benefit from American hegemony. Carney goes on to say something that the global south have been saying for a long time. This international law is applied differently depending on who is accusing and who is receiving. Carney is receiving a lot of praise online for this speech. As a Canadian, I am proud he is my prime minister. But it's not all good. A lot of people say Mark Carney has no chips and it's just talk. Trump's response today was also quite interesting. We'll dive into that later. Carney's speech also pairs well with the Chinese person's speech at Switzerland. China says it does not want to go into trade surplus. It wants to become the world's market. It wants to be a fair player in that regard. So the day after the speech, Trump goes on stage and says, Canada lives because of us, Mark. Remember that before you make those speeches. And he calls Canada ungrateful. And then he goes on to make some interesting remarks regarding dictatorship. And again, I think Carney gave a great speech, but my first thought was, what potential consequences will Canada see from this? What more pressure will America apply? America's attitude towards China is clearly, we don't want China to rise, no matter what. The Americans don't want to live in a world where the Chinese are the dominant country. We live in a time where these headlines are real. 5 years ago, a headline like this would have been laughed out of the room. Leyland Miller, who serves on this commission, says we want someone to cure cancer, but not China. So with clearly America's anti-China stance, how will it really work as Canada wants to lead the middle powers into diversifying trade and engaging more with China? Maybe it's all a big show, because remember, this trade deal is not that big. Trump is going to visit Beijing in April, or Trump and Xi will meet in April, and that could be a huge deal in the making. That could be the point where this world decides if it's going to accelerate into multipolarism or if this rupture that Carney describes will heal. The rupture might heal, but the scar tissue that I wish you saw will remain. The toothpaste can't go back into the tube after what Carney said. This is a very historic speech that Carney gave. But you do wonder if all the middle powers will cooperate the way we would hope they do. It's hard to say. Look at Italy's PM's comments. Professor Zhang of Predictive History says this is all kind of a big show. Don't forget that Mark Carney is a big banker and he comes from the same cloth. But to counter Professor Zhang, here's Carney saying the financial system must transition from its self-appointed role as the apex of economic activity to once again be the servant of the real economy. And that reminds me of how Xi Jinping talks. The financial sector must serve the real economy. So maybe I hold on to a little bit of hope that Carney will steer this world into a better direction. I think when it comes to politics, it's important to look at it all with as little passion as possible. Hope and doom can be very blinding. But I do hope that Canadians understand how much American money is in Canadian media, influencing Canadian thought and discourse. Ironically, Trump leaked a private text from Emmanuel Macron of France. Harkens back to the irony here. Russia criticizes phone call leak, says it's not good diplomatic etiquette. And now we're leaking texts of this magnitude. If you don't have much time, I recommend you read Jason Hickel's comment. We live in extraordinary times. May Canada find a way to avoid war and find prosperity for Canadians and all human beings worldwide. May China be the responsible trading partner that it claims to be. May China be a global market that's good for the world. But some people hope for collapse. Some people hope for expansion. Speaking of expansion, China reunifying with Taiwan, finishing this unfinished civil war due to external influences, the Seventh Fleet, is very different than America annexing Canada or taking over Greenland. That's it leaves me a bit speechless. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. Most people drop off quite early. And check out my bio. There's a Discord where I hope to build a community where like-minded people can get together and find some sense in this crazy world. Thank you for your time and wish you all the best. Om Mani Padme Hum.